headline. Anyway, to Charlie Gasparino, we got Market Watcher Scott Martin, Carol Roth. Charlie, what do you think of that? Wednesday, maybe get the details.
I don't know what's taking so long. I mean, you know, they have a plan. It was put forth by, you know, Donald Trump advocated a plan by Art Laffer and Larry Kudlow and Steve Moore.
Troika of supply-siders.
Yeah, and it was pretty detailed. I mean, it didn't have everything in there, but it was broad out. It was detailed, broad outline, so to speak. And I don't know what we're talking about. There's the plan. Do it. And I mean, listen, I understand we need to know at what rates do certain people get.
At least some details.
Okay,
right?
but I don't know why it took this long.
I know.
It seems ridiculous.
Carol, I mean, again, now we have this added complication. It might be a good complication, depending on your point of view on the healthcare rework, and that this one might be the charm. But does it make any difference to you factoring this in, out, all of the above? What?
I think that any complication is a bad complication, especially when it comes to Congress, given the fact that they can't focus on anything or negotiate their way out of a paper bag. So I would like to see the tax reform be done first, and the devil is in the details. I can be patient for a few days or a few weeks if we get full details on something that can get done. But if they're going to put out something and this is going to go on and on, that is a bad thing for everybody.
You know, I want to pass along something to you, Scott Martin, that our Charlie Brady, who's one of the smartest people on the planet, like scary smart. He was the guy I cheated off of in school. But I would have to tell him to move his shoulder. Anyway, he just reminded me of a little market tidbit here, that the Dow Jones Industrial has crossed the unchanged level 141 times today. Now it's up about 6 points or so today. He doesn't explain why that's significant, so I'm at a loss, but is it significant?
Probably in the course of seeing what the anticipation of the Fed is. Charlie Brady, a good-looking man, too, if I may say. But I'll tell you what's interesting, Neil.
Handsome.
You know what worries me about the statement that Blake was talking about there at the lead was...
Calling Charlie Brady handsome? Right.
Yeah, that too. That's scary. But you know what also is funny is the word tentative, because you're right. Tentative to me means December. And then let's say we finally do get something passed in Congress by the end of the year. It's unlikely to be retroactive, so it is going to look forward into 2018.
Well, speaking of December, this one could be uncertainty, according to Charlie, about the Fed's decision and the balance sheet. We're going to get details of that in a few minutes, but it just they don't know.
Well, I mean, there's two things going on here. There is tax reform and tax cuts, which should stimulate the economy, right? You would hope, particularly if they do a 15% corporate tax cut. Right. And then there's what the Fed's doing, which will destimulate the economy in a sense. And here's what they're doing. They pulled all this stuff off the balance sheets of banks during the financial crisis and afterwards, known as QE. That has the impact of lowering interest rates and putting capital out there.
It could.
No, it did. It did during the financial crisis. Now the Fed is
unwinding it is not necessarily damaging, I'm saying.
Well, unwinding it means you sell securities, these same securities, which nominally raises interest rates.
Could. The reason why Carol Roth, we had a guest on Alan Luckman, said that might not happen is they could sit on these securities and let them mature, or they could sell them painfully slow. There's no obligation for them to do things in wide droves now. What do you make of that?
Well, the only challenge is that of the $4.5 trillion of securities that they have, about a third of that has maturities of less than 5 years. So even with the runoff of them just not reinvesting and rebuying those bonds, I think I agree with Charlie. I think that that's going to actually have an impact on rates.
I really wish you hadn't agreed with Charlie. I agree with Charlie Brady. All right. By the way, so the aforementioned handsome stock market editor Charlie Brady has concluded that the Dow is doing a lot of unchanged stuff today. And that's a big deal after this.